afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast here with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today the Pathfinders. Yes, indeed, the Pathfinders, specifically the Iron Art Pathfinders, part of the Recon Support Company. Very similar to Pathfinders, though with a few slight differences. But overall, a 290 manpower that is available more or less immediately, though with a cooldown, so you can't just begin calling them in. But essentially, once the cooldowns run off, you don't need command points, then begin calling them in. The 4-man squad, meaning they're basically below strength compared to riflemen, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily in some ways good as riflemen. In fact, usually in a one-on-one engagement, Pathfinders can usually quite work out due to one thing they have, though they do lack it compared to regular Pathfinders. There's a scoped rifle for marksmanship, meaning they can quickly sort of begin dropping units that are getting slightly wounded, because at a certain point they can just get an instant kill, meaning they're quite more lethal in certain engagements. They also work quite well for supporting other units. And in part of large engagement, they can sort of quickly just here and there get a kill on an infantry unit, and that way just sort of quickly rack up kills for you while your opponent maybe focusing on other more intimidating units. In that regard, they're a very sneaky and cheeky unit. But again, that also means in a one-on-one engagement, depending on how it's handled, your Pathfinder squad can still handle itself quite well, unless the unit in question actually has like overwhelming amounts of firepower, like something with assault rifles, submachine guns up close, in which case the Pathfinders may have to retreat and say versus grenadiers and full grenadiers. The unarmed Pathfinders could theoretically handle themselves somewhat well, though it will depend on current other factors. Generally, it's not something you should be counting on, but again, so like just an infantry unit to back up other infantry units. The unarmed Pathfinders work quite well. Again, just simply thanks to their ability to just have a chance to like execute a unit, if you will, and then I believe also just cuts right through retreat things. They can also be quite good at dealing with retreating units. On top of that, you get access to decoy barrage. You can sort of make fake out your opponents with sudden artillery call-ins, because they also get access to one of the best artillery call-ins in the game, the artillery barrage. 140 munitions. I believe it's just 3 shells, but what makes this really, really good is these shells land almost instantly. We're talking like maybe a second or two, and then boom, strike, making it very good for some hitting units your opponent isn't quite paying attention to, units that are caught up in some sort of traffic jam or sort of boxed up in a very bad place, or just units in the building, particularly like machine guns in the building. It can be really good, just call in, boom, before the machine gun even has a chance to get out there, it's gone. And that's also really what makes the unarmed Pathfinders in a longer game really, really good. Plus, as you might notice here, they can also just hide out there using camouflage, so that way you can just wait for the right time to strike, and then boom, as you can see, the grenadiers have enough chance to get out, but generally very fast reaction time. Obviously, again, this is sped up, so it's a bit faster than that, but even then, it is really fast. Like, compared to any other artillery barrage in the game, it is blindingly fast, and that's really just what makes it so powerful. And again, considering you just still wait, so maybe for opponents like pay attention to somewhere else, and then you have like a unit really valuable, and just stand about and nobody just call in and gone. So really, part of just why these units are good is the artillery barrage. Then you also got set up beacon, which allows you to lay down beacons, can sort of spot stuff in the minimap, plus any paratroops can reinforce near them, meaning you can just set reinforcement points for paratroops for future fighting. That can also have its advantages, though it is rarely utilized like that. So overall, the unarmed Pathfinder, while a slightly trigger unit, is a really good support infantry unit that can really just deliver intense pain, clear out strong points and supporting elements from your opponent, while of course just being decent at harassing and supporting your other infantry in large engagement, that way quickly racking up kills and just putting pressure on opponents. So a unit that may require a bit more effort in some cases, unless you just spam them, in which case you can also just get a lot of those marksman rifles just to kill units. And of course, one thing to keep in mind is, of course, they're quite vulnerable to vehicles since they've access to snares and to tank weapons, meaning you have to be watchful of that, because your opponent's likely going to try and rush them down with vehicles to wipe them out, and then being 4-man, they are more vulnerable to also just quickly dying out to that. In addition, artillery and other things will also be a point of concern for the unarmed Pathfinders. But utilized correctly, the unarmed Pathfinders can be a real pain in your opponent's posterior, can put down some pressure, and of course be used to deal up with very nasty obstacles using the very powerful artillery barrage, and that's really definitely one of the things you really want to just keep an eye out for. So keeping these things in mind, so I think you'll find yourself doing quite well with the unarmed Pathfinders, giving your opponent a very rough and uncomfortable time, or just utilizing your INR Pathfinders to maximum ability. Additionally, and this probably should have mentioned sooner, you can also upgrade the BAR, since of course the gives them more firepower, but of course that makes them deal more damage, meaning the marksman rifle they have suddenly becomes more effective, as again you can quickly bring them down to low health, and then the marksman can just pop off models faster. So that's also a little extra synergy you might want to consider for INR Pathfinders down the road. Just add a couple of bars to them, creating the mighty bar finder. So there you go. Hopefully this video has been of use to you. Like, subscribe, and share, and press that bell button. Of course, if you like what I do, please donate or pledge on Patreon. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers and see you all another time. Bye.